enough of us do them. So we call this the Nature Challenge. We are challenging Canadians to sign up and make a commitment to doing at least 3 out of the 10 things in the coming year. We've got over 250,000 Canadians signed up taking it now. I want 1 million. I want 1 million because that is a very significant number. I'm convinced if I take 1 million people signed to the Nature Challenge and I show it to any politician in Canada and say 1 million Canadians have signed up, will you sign it? And every one of them will. That's how we're going to show our so-called political leaders what we have to do. I figure if Rick Mercer could get 1.5 million people signed up to change Stockwell Day's name to Doris Day, surely we can get 1 million Canadians signed up to take the Nature Challenge. Now we've got material outside here. I want you all to pick it up. I want every one of you to be signed up to the Nature Challenge. Either you're going to be part of the solution, or you're going to, by not doing anything, you're going to still be part of the problem. There are things we can do. Please sign up, spread it to your friends, get your kids involved, get your workplace involved, and let's become part of the solution. Well, I'm told, yeah, but even if, and I was asked this by a reporter earlier tonight, yeah, but I mean, the citizen is only a part of the problem. What about all the heavy industries? And it's true. Even if all Canadians are doing the right things, what about the industries? They've got to do their share, and the problem with the previous government is they tiptoed around the automobile industry. Many of you are a part of that industry. Believe me, the auto sector hammered the government, said no way you're going to pass any laws regulating our emissions, don't you dare, and they didn't. All the government did was they came to the auto sector and said, oh, please, 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 we'll lighten our demand for you, but you please do it because you're good guys. Voluntary compliance never works. We need a government that's willing to say, look, you've got to do your share. You guys are heavy polluters, especially you in the oil patch in Alberta. And believe me, Mr. Martin was scared shitless of the oil patch in Alberta. And Mr. Harper, he comes from Calgary. You think he's going to do anything? We've got to make him do something and say, those guys, if they go on at the rate they're going, the tar sands will be responsible for half of all of the greenhouse gases emitted by all of Canada. We've got to regulate that and get them to start reducing. And don't tell me that they're going to suffer for that. They're making windfall profits. And not only that, we're subsidizing them, for God's sake. We're paying our tax dollars to allow them to do that. This is absolutely crazy. There's lots that can be done. First thing, they're going to start paying their own way, and we've got to start passing laws. Are there any governments anywhere that do this? A few years ago, I said, I've got to see whether there are solutions that can be done by government and corporations. Are there real changes that are happening at the government and at the corporate level? And so I looked around the world, and to my amazement, I could have written 5 or 6 books. I wrote one very fat book. It's called Good News for a Change, Hope for a Troubled Planet. And whether I looked at fisheries or forestry or pollution or climate change, everywhere I looked, there were all kinds of examples of governments, of corporations, organizations, and individuals that were really doing things to get us onto a different path. The good news is there's lots of good news out there. The bad news is our so-called leaders in business and government aren't interested. I sent a copy to every member of Parliament in Ottawa. I sent a copy to the CEOs of the 100 largest corporations in Canada, and I put a note with each one saying, don't bother to write me to thank me, I want you to read it. And if you read it and you find something here that you really want to follow up, then please write to me, because that's what I'm interested in. I won't depress you with how few answers I got. So the good news is there are lots of solutions out there. People are practicing, trying in their small or big ways, getting us onto a different path. But our so-called leaders, they want to keep doing things the same old way. Oh, they'll put a bandage on here and there, but they don't want to be deflected from doing things in a different way. And it's up to us then to go to our leaders and tell them, look, there are all kinds of examples. Why are you following Sweden? You know what Sweden does before they pass any laws in the country? They say, what will this do to the quality of life for a future generation? What a revolutionary idea. Pass laws, but think in terms of the next generation. Well, I think we ought to be doing that too. There are all kinds of governments that are using carbon taxes. In Canada, the word carbon tax is supposed to be, oh my God, that's anti-business, that's awful. Okay, we'll call it polluter pays. I don't care whether you call it a carbon. Polluter pays. Right now, carbon is a pollution. Polluter pays. You pollute, you pay. You don't pollute, we'll reward you. Government doesn't have many tools at their disposal to change behavior. Taxation is one of the powerful tools government has. And government ought to use them creatively. Tax the hell out of the things that we don't want, and pull back on taxes on the things that we want to encourage, like incomes and salaries. Pull back on those taxes. Tax pollution, tax garbage, tax waste. And believe me, it's being done in Europe. It's even being done in some states in the United States. Governments can do a great deal. A few years, and corporations as well can do a tremendous amount. A few years ago, we bought hundreds of books by